you, Lord.
Good afternoon. This is Dave with Windy Ridge Outdoors. Going to talk to you today about 3 different ways to fish a fluke that I like to fish it. And again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I encourage you to do so. And if you like the videos, hit the like button. But we need try to get to 1,000 subscribers, so just make sure you subscribe. And again, if you like the content, tell your friends and maybe have them subscribe also. So again, today we're going to talk about the fluke, a very versatile bait, can be fished a lot of different ways. I do like the water clarity again to be at least 6 inches. It can be very clear. The clearer, the better it seems to work sometimes. But anyhow, you can fish it in shallow water. You can fish it along rock banks. You can fish it along docks, in heavy cover, weeds. It works good and catches fish in all situations. And the typical way that most people fish it is with a EWG hook and a weightless and weedless, Texas style. So I already have it started, but you just rig it on like this and bring it up around and try to do it as straight as you can and bring it through, and then you can skin hook it, and it's completely weedless, and you can just throw it up in there and you let it sink a little bit, and then you just start twitching it back to you, and it's real effective. And the bass think it's a dying bait fish, but they really go after it, and it really does a good job. You can fish it in a super heavy cover, like I say, around weeds, rocks. You can fish it if there's fish schooling. You can throw it in it and keep it up on top, and they will hit it, thinking maybe it's a dying bait fish. But also, you got to be kind of patient with it, because it takes it a while to sink, and if you don't have it rigged exactly right, it wants to pop out of the water. But if you take your time and rig it straight, you can keep it down, and it's real effective. And Arky, and I'm sure there's probably some other companies that make this style hook too, but they make a weighted EWG hook. This here's a 1/32 ounce, and then they also have a 1/16. I'm sure probably some of the local bait stores may have it, but I know that Walmart handles those. And sometimes I'm not very patient, and I like the bait to sink a little faster, so I'll use a 1/32 to help it sink just a little at a faster rate. And then, like you say, you just work it back, just take your time. You can twitch it back, and it just makes a real erratic movement through the water. It can do a side by side, or it'll dive down, and like I say, if you're not careful, it'll pop up out of the water, but that's okay too. Just kind of got to judge and see what the fish like for that day. So that's one way that you can fish it. And then the other way is also weightless, but you take a 3/0. And I normally fish this on a 3/0 or a 4/0 extra wide gap hook. But you can take a straight shank. This here just happens to be a Bass Pro brand 3/0, and also both of these ways is pretty bad about getting line twist. So again, you can take a swivel, tie it on your main line, and then use about a 12-inch leader and tie it. And I normally throw this on 10 to 12 pound test. You can go down to whatever your favorite is. You can go down to 8, whatever you want to go down to, but I like to throw it on a 10 to 12 ounce. It catches a lot of really nice fish, and it is a big fish bait also. But and like you see, I had a white with a chartreuse tail. I like that real well, and then I like the bubblegum color real well. But this here is, you don't rig it Texas style. This here, the hook is exposed, but it's still really, if you watch what you're doing, it's really weedless, and it's a real effective way. And you got to be careful when you rig this. You got to try to rig it just as straight as you can. You're going to come out in the belly here, so there's not very much plastic to run your hook through. So you might have to do it a couple times or maybe 3 to get it rigged right. But you'll measure where you want the hook to come out, and just about halfway right there at the belly, and then you start feeding it on there. And like I say, take your time, and because there's not very much plastic to go through, and keeping it straight is a real key. And when you have it finished, you'll get the gist. It could have been a little bit straighter, but you want it to be faced. You want the fluke to be down at an angle. And what this does, when you work it, it helps the bait to dive down. Instead of popping up out of the water like the traditional style, the bait will want to dive down. So when you get it rigged on there as straight as you can, and like I say, you'll want it to have just a little curve down like that right there. And like you say, it's really a effective way. And if you have trouble getting the hook set on the traditional way, this way with the hook exposed, it is a lot easier to hook the fish. And like I say, it is relatively weedless too. Now the third way that I like to fish it is just like a regular Texas rig. Is I use a 1/4 ounce bullet sinker, and anywhere that you would fish a regular Texas rig with a worm or a creature bait or a brush hog, you fish it the same style. You just toss it into the cover, and like I say, it's weedless, just like a regular Texas style worm. And it's real effective also in standing timber. If the fish are suspended out in the timber, just go down the bank or out in the flat and throw it in there against the tree and just let it just kind of glides back and forth. And it's a real effective way to pick up some bites and to get some good fish that way. And also, if you're out on a point and the fish are suspended under bait fish out, it's good to throw it out in the bait. You know, they may be in 10, 12 foot of water. The bait fish, you know, they may be down below them, and you can just throw it out in the school bait fish, and this bait will fall down through it, and it's a real effective way of catching them that way too. So hey, that's just, I'm sure there's many different ways that you fish it, but this is 3 ways that I fish it most often, and it's a real effective way of picking up some nice fish and some good numbers at times. Again, just a reminder, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, I encourage you to do so. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, tell your buddies, get out and every chance opportunity you get, and take your kids fishing, take your grandkids, and God bless you.